Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Homestead Challenge podcast. I'm really excited today because I'm going to be talking about homemade gifts. And yes, we're a little bit close to Christmas right now if you are listening to this in real time, but a lot of these are very quick to make, which is nice when you need a last minute gift. But I'm going to talk about a couple different things today, and it's really homemade gifts for people who are maybe not necessarily along the same crunchy mindset that you are. So it's things that people, even normal people, will actually want, use, and love. So if you are new here, I am Brittany of thehomesteadchallenge.com. I am living on a quarter acre in the city, trying to do what I can, what brings me joy, and getting rid of all the rest. And I hope to teach you to do the same. If you are watching on YouTube, please subscribe, follow along if you're listening on the podcast. This one, I actually have some things to show today. So if you want to hop on over to YouTube, come subscribe and come watch there. Otherwise, you can still gain a lot from listening in. So if you are like me and you are, I guess, fairly new to the homesteading world, I'm only 5 years in now. That still feels like a little homestead baby, right? You probably have family members that are not necessarily as interested in natural living as you are. And that is okay. We don't have to push what we want on other people ever, but we can still give them things that we love and we would love to give that they might actually want and use. So it's important when thinking about these things, maybe to give something that could be familiar, but just a little bit more natural. Something that's like not scary, like giving them weird herbal mixes that they are confused about, giving them something useful they could use every day. And of course, pairing it with instructions so people know what you're talking about. So I'm going to talk about a couple of these things today. It's just, I know in the past, I believe that I have given some things that the people didn't necessarily know how to use it, or it just wasn't something that they would actually fit into their everyday life, and then it gets wasted. I know I've even given my mom some things before, and I found them like a year later, and then I just stole them back because I wanted to use them. But that's not the point of gift giving, right? We're not trying to necessarily push our agenda here. We're just trying to give things that are really meaningful and sometimes necessarily last minute if you need a last minute gift. But you just really don't want to be giving things to people that they don't actually want, because what's the point in that? Make it familiar, make it foolproof, make it fit into their real life, and I think you will have good luck giving even slightly crunchy gifts to non-crunchy people. So first up are herbed salts. This is very common, and I'm sure that this is on everybody's DIY list because it's so easy. This is my favorite last-minute gift because you can make it and give it in the same day. So always keep on hand salt, like lots of salt if you're in the homesteading world. I feel like I can use it all the time for so many different things. I keep bath salts like Epsom salts on hand, and then I keep food salt like Redmond's real salt or salt flakes, or I have every kind of salt on hand. Let's not lie here. But a high quality salt, I always have herbs on hand, and you probably do too if you've been following along here. I love to dry my own herbs from the garden. Something like this, though, is probably too much salt to give to somebody that isn't necessarily going to use it all the time. This is chive salt. It was from the summer. It was actually a lot more green when it started, and because it is aging, it is getting less green. But that's okay. It's still great. It still smells great. It still tastes great. I made a lot of it. But a chive salt is great if you have chives in the garden. This one is super easy. So you just blend this in the blender, and then you need to dry it out afterwards, though, because you're going to be using fresh herbs for this kind of herb salt. So if you use fresh herbs, you need to blend it and then dry it out either in an oven, in a dehydrator, or just out. I just think I just left mine out on the counter for a long time on cookie sheets. Make sure it's completely dry before storing. Otherwise, you can use already dried herbs like this. I honest to goodness, I have so many herb salts because I just try to store all my herbs. But this is dry. I think it's dried rosemary and thyme and oregano potentially. But the size like this might be better to be gifting somebody. And these containers are just from Amazon, super easy, or you could use an even smaller mason jar than this. Very, very common to give. But if you're going to give it, then maybe give some suggestions with it. So say, this is great on eggs. This is great on roasted veggies. This is great on popcorn. Whatever you think that they would love, mix up something special for them and then tell them exactly how to use it. Number 2, another very common one, I make it every year, and that's homemade vanilla extract. I like this size. In the past, I've given really big ones, and I don't think that most people use that much vanilla extract unless they're big bakers. If you know someone's a big baker, make them a big old bottle. I actually don't bake a lot. If you've been around, you know that, but I put this in my coffee every single day. But in order to make it a little bit more special, I like to make it with a local whiskey or bourbon, whatever you have. Mine's from like a Cleveland distillery. So that's kind of fun. It makes it a little bit more special than just giving somebody something with some bottom shelf whiskey that you found, which I've done. No shame in that. And that's basically how I make my own. But for gifts, it's fun to give something a little bit more special, a little bit extra. And if you know they're not a baker, but you still want to gift this, then putting on the label something like add a dash in your coffee, use in some pancake mix, add it to whipped cream, whatever it might be. Giving them some ideas is a great way to go. Next thing I really like to give instead of just giving like herbs this is not mine, by the way. I did not make this. I bought this. But an herb mix. So you could do an herb mix. This one actually is to make your own guacamole. You would just put this in with avocado, and I think you're ready to go. And tomatoes and onions, all the things. But this one's guac. You can do like an Italian dip mix. Those are really popular. But I love these because it's one and done. Like they'll use it all. They'll make their dip. They'll use it for a holiday party or something. And then that's it. They don't have to have something sitting on their shelf that they're never going to use. They use it once, use all of it, and that is great. So bunch of different dip mixes. You could do like a French onion soup mix, whatever that might be. Clear instructions on it. Love it. And the next thing is the same that goes for jams. If you're a homesteader, you probably have lots of jams. This one is blueberry jalapeno jam. It's one of our favorites to gift. But I find that even myself, like I don't just use this very often, but something like this, you could use it in this size, or you could give it in like a half size of this and put with a block of cream cheese, and then you whip it up, makes like a fantastic party dip. So gifting it, I wouldn't gift it with cream cheese, but you could put the instructions, maybe even gifting it with crackers and things. So it tells the people like, hey, this is exactly how you use it. Use it for one of your holiday parties this year. They use it. It's special. They get to give something special then when they host a party or are eating it themselves. And I think that that's great because a lot of the adults in my life aren't necessarily using a ton of jam all the time. I mean, no shame in a PB&J, but if you don't have kids, I feel like you're going to have jam for a long time unless you have a specific reason to use it all up. And then next, I have teas. So this one's kind of getting a little bit weird, right? You're giving people straight up herbs, and a lot of the teas that I blend are specifically for different uses. Cold and flu season tea, if you know somebody who gets sick all the time. I like to give away like a sleepy time blend, usually to my mother-in-law. I like to give anti-stress tea. Read the room if you're giving somebody anti-stress tea. But that can be a little bit intimidating for people if they're not tea drinkers. One, don't give tea to somebody you don't think is ever going to drink it. That's just a waste. It's never going to happen. But two, if they're new to tea, just give them a little bag. I'm going to be filling these this year. It's super little. Maybe for my mother-in-law, though, I know she drinks it, so I might fill a whole mason jar. But if you're going to give it to somebody who's not used to it, small bag, and then give it with an infuser because not everybody, I know it's hard to believe if you're a homesteader because I'm sure you have some kind of tea infuser or strainer or you have it all, right? But not everybody has these. I used to recommend the little ball ones that kind of just flip. I don't think for medicinal tea, those are big enough. I used to love my OXO one. I even gifted it before, but I have switched to loving these. These are also on Amazon, but you can get them, I'm sure, anywhere. It's so much bigger. I still use this size for my mug because It helps the water get all around the herbs. I find that sometimes with the tea ball, it's so packed in there that I'll open it up and the herbs in the middle aren't even wet, like after steeping for a serious amount of time. So this really helps the water flow through all the herbs and get into the tea, and it just infuses so much better. You could also gift like a mug that already has an infuser built in. That would be even better of a gift, but these are like you can get like a pack of them if you're giving out like a bunch of teas, so that way you could just split them up and do it that way. That's why I like these, but the thermos mug would be much better. But of course, read the room on what kind of tea you are giving somebody. That one can get a little strange, right? But yeah, I still think it's a fun thing to give as long as you give instructions and make sure that they have a way to use your loose leaf tea if you're giving it to them. My next one is actually for my Australian listeners. So I have a lot of you, and this was one of my most popular asked for things this summer from friends, and that is my herbal bug spray. I say it's for my Aussies because you're going into the summer season now, and nobody else wants bug spray over here in the US right now. But this DIY herbal bug spray is, I feel like it's something that's really common. This one still smells exactly like a normal bug spray. I don't think people think it's weird. I feel like it works really well. And a lot of people just use bug spray all the time. And a lot of people, especially if you have kids, are looking for something that's like a little less chemically. I find that even my non-crunchy friends still don't love, spraying DEET on the kids, right? Or whatever it might be. So the DIY herbal bug spray, the recipe for that is over on the blog. And I think that that could be really fun to give people if you are going into a warmer season where you live. And then finally, I don't have a picture because I haven't made them yet. And that is shower steamers instead of bath salts or bath bombs. Most adults I know don't actually take baths, which is a shame. I would love to take a bath. I used to all the time in my old house. In this house, I just have the kids' bath. It's always full of toys. I don't have my own bath, so I never take one, and it's really sad. I know that like my mother hates baths, like would never ever take a bath. So for those people, giving them bath salts is a little bit silly. Let's not do that. Let's give them something they'll use, and that would be a shower steamer. And they are also easier to make than bath bombs, so it's like a win-win-win. So I'm actually going to be hopefully making these soon with a recipe, but you can just search shower steamers. There's a million different recipes on the internet. I would love to make one with eucalyptus. So fresh, especially for the new year. You could make it with different evergreens, including eucalyptus. That would be like so great for January. And it also helps open up the sinuses, which everybody that I know needs right now. It's like everybody has a sinus infection. So a shower steamer just goes in the bottom of the shower, makes the aroma of the shower super nice. Yeah, you're not soaking in all the good stuff in your skin, but these are really more meant for like aromatherapy purposes. And I think that can be a really great gift to give everybody because hopefully everyone in your life is taking showers. So friends, you really don't need to change the way you are to give gifts to non-crunchy people. Like I don't see myself going in Bath and Body Works anymore and picking up a bunch of stuff to give them. But I think that some of the things that I make really would be appreciated by anybody, whether they are living the crunchy life or not. But all of this stuff I think is very useful. It's not necessarily like I'm not trying to change anybody's ways by giving them body lotion that they'll never use or soaps that they'll never use, bath bombs that they'll never use. I'm trying to think of all the things that I've taken from my parents' house back after they didn't use them that I made. But I truly think that a lot of the one and done gifts are going to be the way to go, like making a dip, making a jam, and giving specific instructions how to use it. Then they are like pleased with their gift, and everybody loves like high quality food. Everybody. So I think they will love that. And it's still something special from your heart that you made. You didn't have to, buy the things if you're trying to get away from consumerism, which I like to say I am, but I'm still failing constantly at that. But these are great things that you can make for anyone in your life. I would love to know in the comments. You can comment even if you're on Spotify, I believe, and of course comment on YouTube as well. What is one homemade gift that you're giving this year that you think anybody, despite being crunchy or non-crunchy, would love? Because I would love to know. And as always, you can come over and join our Facebook community, share your pictures of all of your homemade gifts there. I want to see them. I love seeing what you're up to. Thanks so much for being here. Until next time, friends.